You guys are having a good afternoon. Planning on going and shooting a video this afternoon, but the wind decided that I shouldn't shoot that video, so decided I'd come inside and be productive and put together some of these car first aid kits we keep in each of our cars and our side-by-side, skid steer. We kind of keep them everywhere. Turn this a little bit. I can't because I just got on socks. Mama doesn't let me wear my boots in the house. There's too much different kinds of poop on them. Chicken poop, cow poop, deer poop, dog poop, and with two little guys, she don't let me wear them in the house. Yeah, unfortunately. Hi, good to see you. Oh, show my sock? You know what? I'll go grab my boots. They're right out that door if you want to see them, if you really like boots. But if not, that's fine too. My socks are just Costco socks. They bore you. It's springtime, and you get used to up here. In the winter, you wear a lot of wool socks because I don't know about y'all, but my circulation sucks. We're in Wyoming, thank you. And so you got to wear good socks. And I get tired of wearing wool socks, so they're just cheap cotton socks. But the boot company I found is Double H. That's pretty much what all my boots are. Just because up here it's rough country and a lot of thorns, a lot of sagebrush, and I love a good pair of Lucchese. We're getting deep into the boot talk, but I love a good pair of Lucchese, but they just don't hold up here, and Double H seem to hold up pretty good, so I got a couple of pairs of those. I was gonna go out and shoot, well, now you do. Now you know at least one of us. There's a few of us that live up here, and we love it. Yeah, and but I was gonna go out. I was gonna shoot a video, but in true Wyoming fashion, Quinn, anybody that's from up here would tell you, our weather turns pretty quickly, and more importantly than that, our wind turns pretty quick. So I was gonna go out and shoot a video outside, but it's too windy. It doesn't look it, but it's pretty windy right now. So I figured I keep these first aid kits. Being up here in Wyoming, you're a long way from somebody to help you if you're in trouble in most places. So you got to be able to take care of yourself. So in each of the cars, I keep a first aid kit. In my truck, I keep kind of a bigger first aid kit because we're usually in that for on longer hauls. But in my wife's car, and then in the side-by-side and the skid steer, I'll keep just kind of a basic something that could help you out if you got in a pinch. Temperature, it's actually really nice. It's probably like 60 something. Yesterday morning it was like 15 and blizzard, but today it's beautiful. It's 60 and snow's melting, and it's great. Hey, from India, good to see you. I've never been to India. What part of India? And what's the temperature in India? I bet it's pretty much always hot over there, isn't it? Y'all don't get too much snow, I don't think, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a big geography guy. Never got into that in school. So that's cool. Yeah, welcome. Thank you. So yeah, anyways, I keep these in the car, and you see a million guys like put these together on YouTube, and I did too. I watched a bunch of those videos, talked to guys up here what they liked, and what you end up putting in here if you watch those is a bunch of stuff you don't end up using, and just kind of sits in your car. And I can ride horses, but I cannot ride horses well. I'm more of a four-wheeling side-by-side cowboy, but I can hop on a horse if I have to. Something about horses, we're around them all the time, and some of my best friends are some of the best riders I've seen in the world, and can run cattle like crazy. But for me, it was just never my skill set. I had other skill sets, but those guys that can ride horses really well are pretty incredible. I think it's, what is it? It's 5:48 on the East Coast. So y'all are just getting off work over there, which is great. But anyways, I'm putting this thing together for my wife's car. And like I said, the first time I did this for the first time probably 10 years ago. And I just put a bunch of crap I'd never ended up using. It expired, and so you throw it out, which sucks. And then you're just carrying around all this stuff you don't even need. I love guys that can ride bulls. Some of my good buddies are retired, you may know Quinn, but if you ride horses, bucking horses, or bucking bulls, they call it rough stock riders. And some of my good buddies are phenomenal rough stock riders. They're retired. By the time you get to your 30s, you're pretty much done with that. You're beat up pretty good. But even those younger guys are cool. Now my background is real. Yeah, this is all God right here. This ain't not fake. That's the creator. But no, those guys that ride bulls are no joke. They're awesome. They're really cool. They need a kit like this. But what's crazy, tell you a quick story. First time I went, we have, like I said, a bunch of friends who are big rodeo people. And that's this whole thing on its own. You kind of have like ranching cowboys. You have just cowboys that kind of work out here. And then you have rodeo cowboys. And they're all versions of cowboys, but rodeo cowboys are their own thing. They're tough as nails, just like most of them. And I was behind the chutes, and the chutes is where, it seems like you've seen rodeo, but that's where they pull the gate and the bull goes out. And so they pull the chute, bull goes out. This kid was on, he's probably 18, 17, and rides for like 4 seconds, gets bucked off, bull steps on his boot and shoots his boot off, and he comes limping back over the chutes, and you could tell his ankle was broke, and nobody even blinked twice. They just kind of looked at him, and he went over in the corner, toughed it out, and I assume got in the car with somebody he loved and went to the hospital. So those guys are tough. You look about 27. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I appreciate that, Quinn. Thank you. My wife's got me on these poppy things. I used to drink a lot of Cokes. Now I don't want to turn around the camera. I got it set up on the tripod in kind of a weird way, but I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. For those guys, just a typical day. Those guys are tough as it gets, that's for sure. But so anyways, I say all that to say, you're out here, whether you're rodeoing or you're riding. I got bucked off, we were just talking about horses. I got bucked off a horse, 2 weeks ago, up here. And by the grace of God, didn't break anything and nothing crazy, just got scraped up pretty good on this side. And a lot of times you're out and you're not close to anybody, so you gotta be able to at least get yourself cleaned up and taken care of. If it's something serious, you got to be able to patch it up so you can get back to people that help you. So that's why we keep these things around. I think it's a good idea for anybody. You live in a city, you may come up on an accident or maybe a part of an accident, and it can be the difference between life and death. So we take it pretty serious and keep these in our cars. Yeah, right in there, 30-ish. Yeah, I know. I could have gotten real hurt. And when this horse took off. It started bucking and heading down a hill. I don't know if y'all can see. If there's any rocks out there y'all can see, but we got big rocks everywhere. And I knew I was about to come off pretty quick. So I started looking for a place to bail and turned it over. And praise the Lord, didn't hit any big rocks, and walked away from it. Threw on, that's what I was gonna say, is like, one of the things I feel like guys, we talk about putting together like a first aid kit, they'll hit all this weird stuff, but like the stuff I use over and over and over every time, and I'm always having to restock, is just like basic circular gauze bandages. Like that's what I threw on this, is like just threw some you can throw some of this. I had water, so I did that, but like the saline spray, they have it in a can too, which is pretty nice. And just wrap it up in one of these. So this is like probably, other than like the stuff you use every day, which I'll kind of point out, as far as like getting hurt, this is what I use the most, or just these, what is it, just like, this is medium gauze bandage, just like a, you know, roll of gauze, and you can kind of roll it on anywhere, because it seems like you always, I don't know about y'all, but I always get hurt like on my extremities. But yeah, so this is the first thing I kind of recommend on the trauma side, is that just bandages, because they're important. And then, you know, people always say you need gloves, and up here we need gloves a lot. I keep a ton of gloves in my car as well. But in the first aid kit, because up here we're always hitting wildlife, you're always hitting deer and antelope, and hopefully not elk or grizzlies, but you're always hitting things. And you don't, when you hit it, one of kind of the customs up here is you don't just leave it. You got to drag it to the side of the road, because if somebody comes through there, that could cause a pretty serious accident if they were to roll it up under their car. So I always keep gloves around, because when you're pulling things from the highway, again, I think it's probably a good idea in the city, because you never know, there could be just crap in the road. And you know, I think whether you're in the city or in the country, I think it's always a good idea to take care of people. I think that stuff comes around for you. I think the good Lord has a way of watching out for us, and sometimes we can be those people that help other people. And I think just being prepared, having some of those things helps you. So yeah, gloves on this side. I was gonna say tape is kind of an important one that I keep in here, because again, those bandages, you're always throwing it on there. Like if you're just out hiking, I'll use tape a lot for blisters. I don't know, you're just always needing tape. Like if you're trying to tape something to a windshield, or like whatever. Again, I try and put stuff in here that I will actually use like once or twice throughout the year. I hate, you know, spending all the time putting something together and then you just leave it, you never use it. And tape is one of those things that you gotta like kind of keep up with, because I don't know if y'all ever had like old packing tape or whatever sitting in a drawer, and then you go back a couple years later to grab it, and that stuff ain't sticky, and it ain't sticking to nothing. Same thing happens with this tape. I mean, I think it's pretty much all tape, but so you got to switch this out every couple years. This one's probably due here. I may end up pulling that, because this, and the plastic tapes I found tend to go bad before the other ones. No, that's still pretty good. I'm gonna keep that. And then the other thing that I keep in here that like a lot of people don't think about, and it maybe doesn't necessarily fit in the first aid kit, but I think it does, is it's real dark up here whenever the sun goes down. There's no street lamps, there's no nothing. And if you got to get out on the side of the highway, I always keep a flashlight on me and, you know, a headlamp in the truck, but just having like a glow stick on you and being able to pop that, you know, and use that not only to be able to see, which makes it kind of better over a broader surface, but also other people can really see it, especially if like most of them come with a string in there, and you can like, you know, do the whirly bird thing with it, and people can see that forever. Are there many snakes around here? Yeah, there's a few snakes. We get rattlesnakes in this part. We don't get them too much where we are. We're a little bit high for it in elevation, but they're up here, but they're not up here like crazy, like, you know, about 1,000 feet below us. They're pretty prevalent, but we got a lot of, what are those other snakes we got? We call them garden snakes, but they're not. They're some sort of other snake, and they're actually a good snake, because they're rat snakes. They eat rattlesnakes, so I like those. We try not to kill them. Hey, Kale, good to see you. How was that first day of work? Hope it was good. How far is close to medical facility? Like a good one's about an hour and a half, if you really need something. And that's if weather's good. And then up here in this part of the country, we get a ton of tourists in the summer. And so in the winter, you gotta watch out for ice and snow in getting places. And in the summer, we say you always gotta watch out for tourists, because they'll make that hour and a half trip about a 2-hour trip, which is good. I'm glad people come up here and enjoy it. That's great. It's pretty cool. So yeah, glow sticks is like a different one that and you know what I end up using this more than anything for is like entertaining kids. If you get stuck somewhere, or, I don't know, that's like the main one. You'll get stuck somewhere, you're waiting somewhere, kids are going crazy, and you just pop one of these and it'll keep them entertained for hours. Yeah, preparation is key. Good, awesome. Glad your work day went good. That's awesome. Yeah, an hour. Probably an hour and change, to be honest with you. But there's a lot of, everybody up here pretty much has helicopter insurance, which is just like our medical helicopter insurance. And so if you get in trouble, they'll fly a helicopter in here and pick you up down on a road or a highway, or if you got a flat spot by your house, they'll come pick you up. And it gets real expensive very quickly. And so pretty much if you live up here, that's just one of the costs of living up here, is having helicopter insurance for your family. Hey man, what you say? Hope you're having a good day. So yeah, what else do I always keep a tourniquet. This is like my least favorite kind of tourniquet, and this is just because this is in a med kit in a car that we probably drive the least. This is a rat's tourniquet. And because of that, because the hospital is far away, you want to have a way to be able to stop bleeding, because that's something that'll take you out pretty quickly. I like the cat tourniquets the best. I have a rat's one in here just because, I don't know why. I should probably put a cat tourniquet in here. But these work too. They'll all work. Your belt will work as a tourniquet. Torn shirt will work as a tourniquet. And yeah, it's a lifesaver out here. You hear guys, I just heard a story last hunting season about a guy who was on a horse, fell off, hit a stick, and popped something. No, it was in his leg, it was in his right leg. I don't know if it was his femoral or what it was, but it was a pretty significant bleed. They threw a tourniquet on it, got him out of there, he was in the backcountry, and then care flighted him out, and that tourniquet saved his life. So that's another thing I kind of recommend for these kits, is a tourniquet. Other than that, it doesn't get real medically, just because is that what it's called? RATS. Yeah, it's a RATS. I forget. It's an acronym for something. It may say on here. I don't know. It doesn't say on here. These ones are good. One of the things I do like about these is if you have kids, the cat tourniquets. I'm getting in the weeds on tourniquets, but hopefully it's helpful. Cat tourniquets can't tighten down on really small things. So if you have a kid, you really need a rat's tourniquet to be able to get it around them, because this can get, wicked small. You can put it that small. You probably can do it. Yeah, you can really tighten that down. So that's actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of glad I have this in that car, because we got two little ones, and want to be able to take care of them too. So let's see what else we got in here. Yeah, like I said, that's maybe, I got in here I've got a decompression needle. If it was life or death, I would try to use something like this, but some of this stuff in here is just for to help out your buddies who've got some more medical training than you, which I think is always important too. And that's for a specific injury. If you break a rib, it punctures a lung, and you gotta kind of do stuff. So again, we're keeping stuff out here that you're probably not keeping in the city, just because if that happens in the city, you're gonna be able to get to care pretty quick. Whereas out here, that's not something that'll kill you, a sucking chest wound, but it will if you don't treat it pretty quick. So I think for me, it's just all about the things that I'm entrusted to steward. I want to steward them well and be prepared for those situations. You'll never be prepared for everything, and ultimately, you just trust God in those situations. But I think we also have to do our part to be able to be prepared and steward over those things that we're called to steward. So in here I got, this is just saline nose spray. That stuff's good because out here it's so windy, so you can clear yourself out. I like it too because it's just sterile saline. So if you needed to clean out, something on the road. So I would recommend that in anybody's first aid kit, because one of the things you want to do if you get hurt or somebody gets hurt, you want to be able to clean out wounds, because you don't want to keep dirt in there. It'll end up getting infected, which that's a bad day. Do I play any instruments? I play the guitar, not entirely well. I can blow into a harmonica and it makes some noise. And I played the drums a little bit when I was younger, but not super well. How about you? Music was never my thing. I love music, but it was not my calling, that's for sure. These are just bandages that I kind of keep in here, different sizes, because you never know, you don't want to put like a huge bandage on something that's small, and if you don't have a big enough bandage, that's not fun. All gauzes, compression band. Yeah, maybe some of the other stuff I have in here that you maybe wouldn't in a city is like, they call this, it's all these funny names. Kale, that's funny you said rats tourniquet. This is an Israeli bandage, and it's because their military was the one that designed those. And it's just a type of compression bandage where you're able to wrap it up real tight and put it on there. It's not quite as good as a tourniquet, but one of the things you figure out with wounds, and especially like deep cuts, is you want to keep pressure on them. And if you're transporting somebody or getting somebody from A to B, if you're not, you can kind of hold pressure on it, but if you're trying to get somebody somewhere and they can't hold pressure on it, that helps to be able to do that. Oh, cool, awesome. Played for your church for 22 years. That's awesome. Cool, praise God. Yeah, I had a lot of friends growing up who played in the worship bands and church and stuff, which is cool. I bet that was such a blessing to be able to play that for that long. Oh, cool, congrats. Yeah, you know what, Kayla, that's a great question. Yes, I do. In the summer, I don't worry about it so much because, again, there's enough people moving around up here, but in the wintertime, you always keep your cars pretty much fueled up, over 3/4 of the tank. And I'll keep a couple of those. Y'all have seen them. They're like the camping meals, the freeze-dried ones, which suck to eat if they're not heated up, but you can eat them. So I keep a few of those in each car, so that, God forbid something happen, you go off the road, you go into a drift and somebody doesn't see you for a couple days and you're not able to get out of there, you can at least keep yourself taken care of. The other thing I'll keep in the winter that I don't in the summer is I'll keep a wool blanket in the cars. And it's cool because one of them's my Meemaw's, so it's cool to be able to have her blanket around. Who actually, she was a preacher's wife, Quinn, amazing woman. Oh, I'll fly. You know what? I think it's funny that you just said that your favorite song was I'll Fly Away, because my Meemaw, who was a pastor's wife faithfully for, I don't know how long they were married, long time, 70 years maybe, maybe longer. That was her favorite song, if I recall correctly. Oh, fly away. We just sang that on Easter Sunday, and I love that song. So that's not old school, that's good school. And then, I'll also keep water in the car. We keep some sort of 68 years. They were married 68 years, thank you. That's awesome. I think that was her favorite song, wasn't it? These are, I forgot I put these in here. I like these. These are steri strips. These are cool. These are, if y'all don't have these at home, these are kind of cool to have. They're just like 3M steri strips. And they're essentially like sutures or stitches, but they're just like super strong adhesive that you can kind of like pull across a cut, be able to keep it closed. These are great. I like these in here because, again, a lot of times out here you can't get stuff stop bleeding, which is a bummer. Yeah. That one at her funeral, that's what I thought. I thought that was her number one. Yeah, so she passed away last year. Praise God. Went home to be with Jesus and her husband. And she's a faithful woman. But oh yeah, I got This is just like a space blanket, like a Mylar. Is it Mylar? Yeah, Mylar, like those Mylar balloons. Blanket that it won't be comfortable, but it'll keep you warm. And again, if somebody's in shock, which can happen quite a bit after traumatic injuries, you're able to help them out with that. So this you wouldn't necessarily want this in yours, but this is a nasal pharyngeal airway, which is just that tube that people put down people's noses to create an airway, because a lot of times your airway will close up. People have trauma. So again, a lot of this you have up here just because your ambulances, which would carry like this, they carry a decompression needle, some of these other things, maybe like a quick clot that I know I have in here. They're gonna have all those things, and you don't necessarily need them on you. I mean, you could totally have them in your car if you live in the city, but you keep them up here just so that, you know, Lord forbid, God forbid, you'd have to use them, but you would. Old rugged cross, that's a good one. That is a good one. Yeah. The good old God, that's the ones we grew up in. Grew up on. Here's another glow stick. Yeah, this is quick clot. Again, I probably, you know, because there's advantages and disadvantages to using that on somebody. So I don't know if I would have those in a city first aid bag. So that's maybe a difference if you're living out here versus you're living in a city. You definitely could. I'd be more, I would say cautious. I would definitely be slower to use it if I was in the city, just because you know you're gonna have help pretty quick, as opposed to out here where it's probably gonna take you a little bit longer. Maybe not, maybe you're right out of the city. What else we got in here? It's just a SWAT tourniquet. I threw this in here because somebody gave it to me, wanted me to try it. It's a big rubber band. That's another tourniquet. And again, those are good on like kids and like small women. Be really good on. Yeah. This is another thing. This is for this is a why am I blanking on this? Chest seal. This is a chest seal, and it's for sucking chest wounds. Again, I keep these in here because with, like, you know, we were just talking about falling off horses or even car crashes. You break a rib and then it goes into your lung. It's going to create a sucking chest wound, which will be fatal over a period of time if you don't take care of it. And this is one of the ways you can do it. If y'all are interested, there are plenty of videos on YouTube with guys better than me telling you how to use those. But they're pretty impressive. They're pretty cool how they work. And that's just gauze impregnated with that hemostatic agent, the agent that is like quick clot, stop you from bleeding real quick. Yeah, we used to love all those, the old God. You know what I even miss too is like jars of clay. I grew up on like 90s and early 2000s Christian music. Jars of Clay was a good one back in the day. Rain, wasn't there? Yeah, Rain. Rain. It's about Noah. That was a good song. But this over here, let's control that out of the way. This is the side we end up using the most. Because this is just like, you know, I can see that. This is just like boo-boo stuff. These two right here, 9 times out of 10, probably 25 times out of 26, I'm coming into this. I'm just going over here to this boo-boo thing. Whereas, you know, very rarely, a couple times I've had to go into this. But yeah, so this Kleenexes, I keep some of those in there because having little kids, you always need Kleenex. You know what I should probably put in here now? I don't know that I've updated this since I had 2 kids, but it's like a little thing of baby wipes because there is always crap everywhere with kids. I don't know if any of y'all have kids, but it's baffling. It's awesome and it's baffling how messy they can get. Let's see what we got in here. It's cool because you put these things together, you know, once a year, and then I kind of forget what's in here. So it's like a little Christmas gift to see. Oh, this is great. This is moleskin. I was talking about using tape for blisters, but this is even better. Throwing moleskin on blisters. I don't know if y'all do much hiking or camping, but moleskin is a staple. There's another one I'm blanking on right now that guys use up here. It's like an athletic type tape that just like will not come off of you. That really helps with blisters. Yeah, baby wipes would be a good one. I'm glad we did this because I should put some of those in here because we're always going through them, and it's always nice to have Kleenex because we use up the stuff in the car, and then to be able to remember you have it in here is always really nice. Saves your butt. And this is just like little Band-Aids, just like for small cuts. I got some Neosporin or Polysporin in here. I got some burn gel right there. I'm always getting burned. I got 3rd-degree burns on my leg. Probably, I don't know, maybe it was 10 years ago. And it showed me how important a burn gel was, even though it didn't help too much. Yeah, moleskin's awesome. Moleskin, I highly recommend. Somebody told me that years ago in here, and I end up using that moleskin. This one, obviously, I didn't use this past year, but almost every year I'll use that moleskin. And that's because I keep some in my hunting bag whenever we go out hunting, and so I end up using it then. Otherwise, that would have probably gotten used. But burn gel is a big one because if you can rub burn gel, especially on a 1st or 2nd degree burn pretty quickly, like I was doing reverse searing steaks, which I still suck at. I wish I was good. I have a buddy who's so good. Y'all, I don't know if any of y'all reverse sear. It's just where you like kind of cook it slow at first. Like I put it in the oven at like 200 degrees for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then pull it out and you throw it on a cast iron and sear it up in like a minute, 2 minutes. And I have a buddy who's incredible at it. I can't figure it out. I overcook it probably 3 out of 5 times, and the other 2, it's delicious. But I was doing that, and I put the steak into the pan with some butter, and it flamed up. And kind of where I have this cut here, burned up my arm, and I was able to throw some burn gel on it and some silver, which if y'all don't know about silver's awesome. I got a bottle of it I'll bring over here in a second. That's really, really good stuff. But they have silver at the pharmacy aisle in like Walmart. They've got like, I forget what it's called, silver something. But it's like basically Neosporin meets silver. And whenever I got the 3rd-degree burn and had to go to the hospital, that's what they gave me, was like silver, an antibiotic silver. And so it's cool they sell it OTC. Yeah, it flamed up from the butter. So yeah, I don't put as much butter in there now. I kind of do olive oil and then I'll put the butter in afterwards. But it still makes me nervous every time I do a steak now on the oven. It's, yeah, I haven't mastered it. This is just smelling salts. Which I think are good. I think I got an iodine in here too, which is just good for cleaning. If you're, again, where we are, if you're out, you cut something, you hurt something, it may be a couple hours before you're able to get to somewhere where they can really clean it out and take care of you. And you, as quick as you want to get that thing cleaned, because having infections sucks. Praise the Lord, I haven't really had to deal with that, but you hear stories all the time. So we keep a little bit of stuff to be able to take care of that. I got some tweezers in here, because you always get splinters. I got some duct tape, like rolled up duct tape, which, I mean, shit, you always use that, whether it be for first aid stuff or other things. Yeah, means you get cooked. Yeah, that's reverse. You're not cooking the meat, you're cooking yourself. Yeah, so maybe one day I'll figure it out, or I'll probably just stick with the grill. That's how my dad taught me. he's an expert at it, so I'll maybe stick with that. Got some Purell in here, because you gotta have Purell. And then honestly, this is probably the one bag out of here that we go to the most. Say, you know, yeah, almost every time I use this, I'm going to this thing. And I've just got like odds and ends for daily crap. Some Burt's Bees, lip stuff, some, I like to keep Bayer Motrin in here because if someone's having a heart attack, it's been shown to be good if you throw it under their tongue to be able to hopefully save their life. So I keep some Bayer in there for that specific reason, because I don't really use Bayer for other things. No, I do have scissors. I have like trauma shears, like for if you have to cut off somebody's pants or a shirt to be able to get to a wound. But I do. I always have my knife on me, which honestly, if it was something where I really had to get into it, I'd probably use my knife just out of quickness. Colloidal silver. Yeah, that's exactly it. But yeah, I keep trauma shears for that exact purpose. Yeah, I like the grill too. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go back to it. Look, the grill it's Old Faithful. It's like our old gospel tunes we were just talking about. They're great. Why move away from them? Then they come out with this new shiny stuff. You eat a reverse seared steak, you're like, that's delicious. I think I can do that. And I quickly realized I can't do that. So yeah, I think y'all are right. I think it's time to go back to the grill. Tylenol, just for headaches. A little bit of allergy medicine. Aleve. I use Aleve probably the most out of it. I don't really use any OTC medicines all that often. But Aleve is probably what I use the most, just because you're always pulling a muscle, and that's the best stuff I've seen for that. I like the gel caps. These aren't the gels, but the gels work really pretty quick. Got some floss in here. Sure to floss, that's great, but I don't know, I feel like you end up using floss for a lot of other stuff. You can always tie things or whatnot. This is Benadryl, again, for, like the Bayer, I don't really use Benadryl, but if somebody's having an allergic reaction, it'd be great if they could take one, but if they couldn't, you could always crush it up and then be able to put it in their mouth, which is great. Pepto-Bismol, because it sucks when you're sick and you're out on the road or you're out on a hunt. So I keep Pepto-Bismol in there. Chloroseptic, because I hate having a sore throat, so that just helps solve that. More allergy medicine, because you're always getting allergies. Cough drops that I'll probably never use, but I got them in here. Yeah, Aleve's my old faithful when it comes to over-the-counter medicine. And then this one's just saline. Pretty sure. Yeah, sterile saline, which again, for what you can use it to wash out stuff. I would probably use it for eyes because it's a little bit more. And then these are artificial tears. Because again, up here, like I talked about, I'd planned on shooting a video outside, but the wind's blowing, even though it doesn't look like it, just enough for me not to be able to do it. The wind's always blowing up here. So you're always getting crap in your eyes. So I keep that in there because, especially when you're driving, like it sucks if you have something in your eye and you're trying to pay attention to the road. And, yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think these are all pretty much up to date. I always go through and check my dates on these medications because they don't last as long as you'd like for them to. These all look good. So that's why I do it once a year, is to be able to restock whatever's been used and be able to, if anything's gone out of date, be able to toss it and grab something new. The lever out of date, we'll change those out. But yeah, it turned into a pretty awesome day up here. like I said, it's probably 60. But it feels like mid 50s just because of the wind, which is good because it's funny. Up here, whenever it's 60, it feels like it's like, we're from Texas originally. And whenever it's 80 in Texas, like that's not that hot, But up here, if it's 80, it feels wicked hot. And I think, y'all may know better than me, but to me, it seems like it has something to do with the elevation, just because you're higher up. And so, I don't know, because whenever it's 50 outside, if I was in Texas, you'd be out in a coat, whereas here, you're almost out in the t-shirt at that point, once it gets above 30, which is pretty good. These have dates too. Did you check? These should be fine. I just changed these last year. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like what I keep in the cars. And I keep one in the side-by-side because we're always out on the lane with that. And I keep one in the skid steer because, if something goes wrong, you need to be able to take care of. Most likely in the skid steer, it's going to be yourself. But you need to be able to take care of things before other people get there. Because that's one of the things living out here teaches you, is that you kind of have to take care of yourself. And it's one of the things we love about being up here, is it's that old school, Wild West freedom mentality. And for us, it makes us trust God more because it shows you pretty quickly you're not in control. There's so much out here that you're not in control of, whether it's the wildlife or the weather, you getting hurt, animal doing something crazy. And so, but it also, what I've noticed up here is that it can also breed this sense of like people, I won't say taking the place of God, but like thinking that they're like, I can do it, I can push through it, which is admirable and I can appreciate it. But I think that's probably the big sin issue up here, is just that idea of like, I don't need anybody else. I can do it all myself. And again, it's great to have that independent mindset. I love that. And I agree with it, but I think we all have to bow the knee to the Creator to say, Lord, I will do what you call me to do, and I will be prepared in the way you called me, but ultimately it's your call. How do we come across, just a total God thing. We were looking at land throughout Wyoming and looked at a bunch of different places, and nothing really hit the spot for us, and we didn't feel called to it. And then my wife was like, hey, I think there's this one property, it's got some acreage, let's go take a look at it. So we went and took a look at it. We drove up onto where we're at right now. We looked at it. We both looked at each other and we said, okay, I feel like this is the place God's calling us to. And so that's it. I wish I could take the credit for it, but it's really the good Lord who placed us here. So that's how we ended up here. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Nobody's an island. And I feel like specifically as men, right? God called us to be protectors and to be able to take care of other people. And I think part of that is being prepared and being able to not only have the information, but the tools to be able to do that to some extent. But I think thinking that all of that insulates you from something or makes you impervious or makes it about you because you're so strong, that's a path to foolishness. So I totally agree with you, Quinn, that no man is an island. And the second you start thinking that way, God's gonna humble you pretty quick. So yeah, I would definitely agree with your granddaughter on that. That's true. Good old Rat's Tourniquet. Yeah, it is a cool story how we ended up here. We love it. For a couple of city kids, just north of from North Texas to end up here in Wyoming is pretty crazy. I may actually change out that rest. And we love it. I said to my wife, jokingly, half joking, I said, look, I'll do what God wants me to do. If he wants me to go be a sunflower seed farmer in Iowa or whatever, I don't care. I'll go do whatever he calls me to, because I've been foolish enough throughout my life to try and push through and think that I know better. And I'm now at the point where I'll bend the knee and tell him that he knows better and just fall in line, that I'd go do that thing. But I said, babe, I think it might be like a Jonah situation, because I sure love it up here. So God might have to put me in a whale to take me out of here. And if he does, praise God. But all that to say, we absolutely love it up here. The people are great. I know, isn't he cool like that? He's, and I think that, I think that says a lot about you too, Quinn, that you're open to that, that you allow the Spirit to move in that space. And I think that's exactly where we should be, is that I'll prepare, I'll put together the songs that I feel like God wants me to put together, but Lord, you want to change it last minute? I'm all about it, let's change it. And so I think we should all live our lives that way, that's for sure. I try to in my best moments, and I fail in my worst, that's for sure. So I think we're good on this one. Oh, the other thing I keep on here, I'm not going to pull it. Whatever, I'll pull it. Y'all won't be able to hear it because it'll be too high pitched. But this is the one that I keep in my wife's car. And it's just got this, I don't know what this thing's called. It says E-alarm. But it's one of those things where like you pull this and it makes like a super loud sound. So I just put this on hers because I don't know if a bear was coming at her, or if she was in a seedy parking lot or something, she could pull that and maybe attract some attention. So that doesn't have anything to do with a first aid kit, more just a car-based item. We, so kind of going along with first aid stuff, I got a crazy story from the second week we moved up here to Wyoming. We were up here at the house. My wife was pregnant with our second child and was like 3 months away from giving birth, and seemed like she might be going into labor, which, as you can imagine, wouldn't have been a great thing. And so we jump in the truck, start heading out, and go to the hospital to see what's going on. And my neighbor, who I love, they're just the sweetest people. So friendly, so sweet. We have grizzly bears up here. We have some black bears, but the grizzly bears have pretty much killed all the black bears. So probably like, what do they say? Like 10 years ago, the black bear population up here was really healthy, but it's not so much anymore just because they don't allow people to kill the grizzly bears because they're federally protected. That's a whole debate up here, which we can get into. But they're protected up here when, in my opinion, living around them up here, they don't need to be. There are a plethora of grizzly bears, and they actually took them up here, made them a hunting animal, passed out some. Up here, you got to get tags to hunt things, which I think is pretty common around the States. You got to get tags. So they gave out some grizzly tags, and then I want to say it was within the week of doing that, they shut it down. Some federal judge wrote off and said that they couldn't hunt grizzly bears, which, again, I would hearken to say, come to this part of the country, and you'll see that there are. The problem is that they're overpopulated, so they've decimated the elk herds up in this area. They've decimated some of the deer population, and that combined with the wolves that they introduced into Yellowstone a few years ago, which I think was well-intentioned, but they're not native to this area. They were Canadian wolves. And so the combination of the wolves coming in here, having no predators for the wolves, so the wolves have kind of run rampant, multiplied like crazy. And then that with the grizzly bears has really, it's sad, but decimated quite a bit of the herding populations around here. So all that to say is, yeah, we got a ton of grizzlies. We get around this time, and then in the fall, we'll probably get, I don't know, 3 or 4 each season, kind of come through here on the land. And they're spooky. They're big and they're unbelievably fast for the terrain. Like it's crazy. We have a big bear dog, a big 150 pound right now. He should be a little bit bigger than that, but 150 pound Karakachin, which is a Siberian Kodiak bear dog that would protect herds up there from Kodiak bears, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is the real difference between a Kodiak bear and a grizzly bear is kind of nominal. The Kodiak bears tend to feed more on salmon, at least up in Alaska, what we call Kodiak bears up there. And so they're kind of the same bear, but he guards our property up here. And I haven't seen any recently. That doesn't mean they're not around because they blend in pretty well. And so I'm wondering if him patrolling the area, kind of keeping them off, isn't doing a better job than it was before we had him up here. So he's a real blessing to have. But back to my story about when we first moved up here. We're driving down the hill, take my wife to the hospital, check out, make sure she's good, make sure the baby's good. And our neighbors, great people, love them, best neighbors in the world, are like waving at me. And in my head, I'm like, love you guys, I can't talk, we're going to the hospital, I'll see you in a minute. And so I kind of like give him the wave and kind of keep going, but then I see him like keep waving. And so I look back and I can see he's frantic. And so I throw the car in park real quick. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, come, help. And I'm like, okay. So we start running off across his property. And I could see he had a trailer and that his dually was hooked up to. And then I could see all these, I don't even know what they're called. They're like cattle panels, but like they're oil field pipe. So like really thick pipe. These panels that are built out of it, maybe, I don't know, 20 feet long, each of these panels. And there's like 8 of them laying on the ground. And I'm like, oh man, I can't like help you with your panels right now. I'll have to help you later. And then I see there's a guy laying underneath these panels. And I get over there and I can see pretty quickly, he's not good. He's not doing good. You know, you can tell some of the bones are broken on his face and he can't breathe because all these panels are on him. And I'm just like, man, and my neighbor's probably like mid-70s. He's an older guy, very able-bodied, very tough guy. And I'm like, man, we got to get these things off of him. Yeah, I can tell he's in shock, my neighbor. And so he goes, I never heard you talk like that afterwards. Because I start yelling at him. I go, you grab that side. We're going to lift these up and yank. Because I'm like, man, we've got to like get this under control or else this guy's going to die right here. And so these panels, I think they told me afterwards, I think they were like 400 pounds a piece, these big panels. And I can't lift 400 pounds on my own. And I don't know how much my neighbor could lift, but I'm convinced it was the Holy Spirit helping us lift those things. And so he gets on one side, I get on the other, and we start like lifting these things off and like throwing them off of him. And my mom was here in town. She's like trying to flag people down to come up and help us. You know, people are slowly coming up, but you know, by the time they got up there, we had these panels off this guy. And he's in a bad way. You know, I didn't think he was gonna end up making it. And so gets shipped off to the hospital. And you know, I got to get in the car and go to the other baby hospital now and, you know, switch into dad mode. And so we go and do that. And, you know, we keep praying for the guy, wondering about what he's doing. And found out a few hours later he had survived. He had like broken orbital socket, a bunch of broken ribs, punctured, all sorts of stuff. And, but ended up making it. And I happened to be at the hospital, the other hospital that he went to, I'd say about a month or 6 weeks later, just visiting somebody. And I went by the ER, and I know the head ER guy there is a buddy. And so we were talking, and I don't remember how that got brought up, but it got brought up. And he goes, "Wait, you're the dude that pulled this stuff off the guy?" I go, "Yeah, it was insane. Like, we pulled it off. I think they brought him in here, and then the care flighted him out, blah, blah." And he goes, "I want you to know that if you hadn't pulled that stuff off of him, within 4 to 5 minutes, he would have never made it." And it was just nuts. It was crazy. So it was a pretty quick reminder living up here that even though I didn't use any of my first aid gear, you better be prepared to help people. And in that moment, it was just using my strength and being available to what God was doing. But again, I think that's what we're called to do as believers, to help in whatever way we can. If you don't have physical strength, I think prayer is infinitely more powerful than physical strength. If you don't have, strength, you can use a resource. We can use whatever God's blessed us with. Joe Rogan, he loves grizzly bears. Yeah, well, he can come up here and hang out on my property, see how much he loves. I love the power of grizzly bears. I love that they're apex predators. I respect that. I love all that. But I think letting them run amok is not our job, is not us stewarding the land well. So I agree with him. They're beautiful, awesome creatures. And I am not at all, no matter what it is, whether it's deer or elk or grizzly or sheep, I'm not at all for hunting things for sport or just killing things. But I do think sometimes it is necessary for us to step up and steward well. But that's interesting. I didn't know he cared so much about the grizzlies. Yeah, he did. He got crushed. Yeah. Yeah, you don't know you got that gear until you have to switch into that gear, right? Yeah, they never heard me talk like that. But yeah, it was cool. I got to end up meeting the guy. I want to say it was probably 6 weeks later. He was up at my neighbor's house having dinner and wanted to say hi, and it was sweet. His kids thanked me and stuff. So it was cool, but good reminder on how we should be there for each other. So, well, love you guys. Love getting to spend time with y'all. And Kale, glad your day went good at work. And praise God for that job. Quinn, it's been great spending time with you. And praise God for your service in the church, your service to the kingdom. And yeah, it's been fun getting to spend time with y'all. We jump on every morning at 7 a.m. my time, which is 9 East Coast, for about 12 minutes to be able to just pray, turn our day over to the Lord. So love to see you on there, Quinn, if you're up and around then. If not, that's great too. I'll jump on lives every once in a while. And then, yeah, we do that Monday through Saturday in the mornings. And then videos here and there when the wind's not blowing. So y'all have an awesome day. It's been awesome getting to spend the afternoon going through this thing, doing something that otherwise would have been kind of a menial task, getting to chat with y'all. It's been really fun. And hope y'all have an awesome rest of your day. And praise God. Y'all pray for us. We're constantly praying for y'all. And we'll see you. Let's get to it. Let's get to what God called us to. We'll see y'all. Bye.